All right. Yeah, so you're looking at a picture of a recording desk that I built. Yeah, it was kind of my woodworking project, and it's actually the second one that I built. The first one was a smaller design, and that was primarily for my old house. But when I moved here, I used it here for about a year. And then I really, my room was much bigger, so I needed a little bit bigger desk so I could accommodate a few extra pieces of equipment and just have a little bit more working room, or more of a tabletop kind of thing, more of a working space. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the parts that I made and kind of how I pieced it together and made this recording desk. So I made 3 bays, and there will hold 8 pieces in each bay. Okay. You see a little bit of wood here, and that's you're going to see this later on. This was kind of some pieces here that are kind of key to putting the whole thing together. But we'll move on with that. All right, so some of the materials I use now, obviously the wood came from Home Depot, and the materials are some stuff I had to order, like, for example, showing you a picture here of some foam wrapped around what's going to be the armrest pad, and this came from, the foam came from eBay, along with the actual vinyl material, which they call a perforated vinyl, that's used in auto upholstery. So as you can see, I'm kind of fitting it here around the armrest. So the padding went down first, obviously, and that was glued down, and then the auto upholstery went over the top of that. And I didn't glue that, I just kind of stapled that on the back. Okay. So I started with obviously the center rack, so I had all my my measurements and things, and my size. And then this is an example here of one of the side panels. So it's multiple pieces of wood, so it was glued, screwed, and clamped for the glue to dry. And that's kind of my design there for the side, and you'll see how this all comes together here in just a moment. On the insides of these side panels, I used just old-fashioned shellac. So they called it amber color, which kind of gives you like that kind of wood glow kind of looking color. And the reason you're going to see this here is kind of the trim will kind of match the molding and things in my room, because that was all done with the same shellac. So I do the shellac, and then I put a coat, or maybe 2 coats of clear lacquer over the top, like gloss clear lacquer, like a Minwax product. All right. Okay, so here's a shot of the looks like the armrest after I padded it. And okay, so now we're getting into the kind of the table design here. So now this is Formica, and that I had to order because they didn't have that in stock. This kind of the wood grain looking, it's kind of a grayish black wood grain Formica. So I had to order a 4x8 sheet of that, and it actually wound up, they rolled it up, and they somehow managed to get in this pretty small box and sent it to my house. Okay, so I did the Formica there on the desktop. Right, and now here's a side panel shot, and you can see I did the Formica in an up and down kind of thing. That wasn't really my original plan, but I actually had a part of the sheet of Formica actually snapped on me when I was trying to glue it in place, so I lost a decent amount of the sheet, because the stuff snaps pretty easy. You'd be surprised. I thought for some reason it would have been a little stronger. And then you can see I kind of cut everything out, and I used a router. I had to buy a Formica cutting bit For my router, I didn't have anything like that. But yeah, once you get the correct bit, I mean, it's pretty easy to cut this stuff. Okay, so here's kind of like the assembly. So now you can see that I don't have the back panel yet because that's the sheet that broke, actually, of Formica. So originally it was going to be Formica as a back panel there on the top, but you can see I got the sides. I also got some trim mold around the side panels, which is like a black kind of plastic trim that they sell. I think it's called like fast trim or something like that. It actually has an adhesive on the back, and it just kind of like self sticks. It's almost like you're putting down tape, and you know, it's kind of bendable. It's like a plastic product. But as you can see now, I put this amber, shellac kind of on the insides there, and you can kind of see a little bit of the shellac on the trim. So kind of it's going to match the room. Now here we got a shot here with the back panel, the upper back panel. Now that was originally supposed to be Formica, but that's the piece that broke. So I wound up saying, well, I could buy a whole nother sheet of Formica and wait for that to arrive, or I got a whole bunch of this auto upholstery vinyl. So I put that up there, and I actually kind of like it. Got a shot here of the back of it, and you can see this area here in the back. These wood strips here is either you can tie wires up to them, but those holes are 19-inch spaces. So the idea behind that was to put electrical outlets. They have I have like a trip light rack mount outlet strip. You know, it's not very deep. Just has outlets on both sides, front and back. And yeah, that's what I'm using those spots for. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. Just want to tell everybody you're listening to some original music that I recorded. Okay, and here's a shot of me putting it together. Now, a couple of key things here. The legs were recycled from my old recording desk, and they were purchased online. They're kind of like a welded steel leg. They were pretty expensive, just the legs on their own. And I had to put two steel cross braces that you can see kind of underneath in the back, and those are bracing like an X pattern. They're bracing the legs. Now, I went to Home Depot and I found this steel that I just couldn't bend. It's like an angle iron steel. I tried the aluminum. I originally wanted to do aluminum, you know, something like that, you know, something a little fancier. But when I finally found the steel ones there, you just couldn't bend them. So that's what I went with. And the thing is just like rock solid. So it's like an X pattern on the back with the steel angle irons, and they are screwed to the legs. So the legs attach like on the outside of the desk, and the reason for that is just so you have a lot of leg room underneath, because there is a manufacturer that makes these big honking legs. You know, I looked at some of these pictures before I built these things and what they're selling out there. And there's one manufacturer that has these big honking legs underneath it, and you can't even fit your feet under the desk. But at any rate, so there it is, kind of in the assembly. And here it is a bit more finished. And then there's a shot of me with the Sawzall. I did not use the Sawzall to build this desk. Okay, so listen, I thank you for watching my video, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you're in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area and you'd like to record with me, I do some great recordings. Okay, take care now.